I'm going to do a tutorial for you today on how to turn these 3 cakes into a 3D dinosaur. That's 2 9-inch rounds here and a 6-inch round over here. So we'll start carving and watch and follow along if you want to do it. It's going to be filled and frosted with ganache and then covered in fondant and airbrush from there on. I'm behind the camera because I suck at making 3D models and getting perspective, getting the right shape. My husband has a better eye for it than I do, so he's going to do the carving for me, and then I do the fondant work. I always get nervous watching him doing all that cutting because I always think he's cutting too much. He's just working on the body here. The reason for that cut and the V over there is so that we can give the body a curved shape on the board. That's the board that it's going to go on. And the cake then will have, the finished product is going to have a curved body as a dinosaur would if they were around and we could see them. So the idea is just to carve it over here on the bench. The bench has been disinfected and all cleaned properly, in case you're wondering. So we're just going to carve it, get the basic shape on the bench, and then we'll transfer the cake onto the board that it's going to be presented on, because we don't want to be cutting up on that board and wrecking that board. I'm not going to cover the board at all in fondant. It'll just be the dinosaur that'll be covered. So this is the body here. I know it doesn't look like much, but it will once we're finished. This will, the servings as well, I just thought of, will be 20 generous serves and 25 to 30 smaller serves. It's a gluten-free cake. It's chocolate mud. Should be super, super yummy with that ganache on it. I'm looking at it in reverse, so I'll just go around to the other side. So here is your head and the body. You can see the curved shape and the tail. That's all cake, and from this point on we're going to finish the skinny part of the tail with just fondant. So not a lot of wastage. That's the offcuts, which we'll use to build up a neck, so there'll be a bit more space in here. There'll be a neck over there. Just trimming off those sharp edges. There was an edge just here, just to give that body that nice rounded natural line that it would have. And this cake, some of it will be used again because we've got some holes in here. We're just getting the basic shape of it, and then it's going to go on the board, ganache, and then we'll use these offcuts of cake to tuck in these little holes here, and as I said, making a neck over here. The key is make lots of cake so that you have lots of cake to work with, to carve, and to it's better off you starting with a big piece and then carving it down into shape rather than you not having enough cake to work with. I think that's the key. So we're just about ready to swap it onto the board and start ganaching and continuing on with that shape. And that's what I mean by taking off those sharp edges. That was the tail end. Obviously the tail isn't that thick, so you want to cut that down and cut those sharp edges off. And we've just used this roundness that is here is already the roundness that was in the cake tin itself, so we don't have to cut that round shape. So just use those pieces to your advantage. And you can see that's going to be the head right here, nose, eyes. We'll add some detail. The neck we'll add on once it's on the board. That's just a little divot for the shape of the body, and the tail. And all these offcuts will go in here to fill up any holes or anything that we need. And as well to bring up the servings to what has been requested by the customer. So video number 2, stay tuned, we're going to do the ganaching.